Hi all. In this session we are going to see how we can use Pytest-xtist package to run our Pytest files in parallel mode. Here are few options that I am showing it in this slide. How we can use the Pytest-dist options to run our test parallelly. First we need to use our pytest command, and then we need to use the flag -n, and then the number of workers. Workers in the sense in how many parallel runs we want to execute, whether it is 2 parallel runs or 3 or 4. Based on our requirement, we can provide that numbers. If you don't know how many CPU cores you have, then you can use the option auto, or else if you know, then you can provide the number here. And then other most frequently used flag is -dist, and this accepts two values. One is load file and another one is load scope. By default, if we don't provide -dist flag, then by default it takes the load scope. What is the difference between these two values? That we will see with some examples. Here in the PyCharm, I have created 3 suite files with 4 test functions or method within each suite file. We will use these suite files to for our demo of parallel execution. I'll switch to terminal. We are going to use 2 parallel workers, and then the default distribution load scope we are going to use. You can see the first 2 lines that it is picking up the suite file is the same file, but the test function is different. Let me scroll it below. So 2 workers are taking the functions from the same file, right? So test suite file 1.py, test suite file 1.py. And once all the functions are done with a single suite file, it moves to the next suite file, and it goes by suite file and then next suite file and then next suite file. So here you can see the difference. Now we will try to execute with the other options with dist flag load file. Here you can see the difference. So the previous example, it took the functions from the same file. Here the distributions are happening at the file level. So it takes one function from one file, and the other file it takes, and then it takes the first function. So distribution is happening at the file level, and the 2 files are running in the parallel mode. So in the previous example, the functions are running in the parallel mode within the single file. So in the load file distribution options, 2 files are picked up, one for each worker. So this is the difference between the load scope and the load file options here. And then when we run it with the 3 workers with the load file option, you can see all 3 suite files are picked up, and within the each suite file the functions will run in a sequential mode. This is a high level example for the parallel execution. We will see the deeper or in-depth example in the next session. Thanks for watching.